Hey everybody, welcome to today's webinar, Help Your Community Win with Money. My name's Jordan Watwood.
And I'm Jonathan Flippin.
And we both work for Ramsey Solutions. So thanks so much for taking some time to spend with us today to learn a little bit about how you can help your community win with money. When we sent out some emails leading up to this webinar, one of the things that we mentioned was we were going to give away 3 copies of Dave's best-selling book, The Total Money Makeover. So we selected 3 of you as winners, and I just wanted to go ahead and read off those winners as we get started. And we'll send a follow-up email to each of the winners. So if you have to step away or aren't tuned in right now, you'll find out about it through email. So our 3 winners are Matt O'Donnell, Sherry Anderson, and Mackenzie Spencer.
All right.
So congrats. Someone from our team will follow up with you after the webinar and send you your book. So look forward to that coming in the mail. All right. So we wanted to start today. There are 3 major takeaways that we want to share with you during this webinar. And the first takeaway is we're going to cover who can lead a Financial Peace University group. Then we're going to dive into how you get started leading a group. And then we're also going to focus on some tips for overcoming challenges along the way. So we're going to unpack each of those takeaways, give you some details on that today. There's one final takeaway that you'll get, and you're going to have to wait till the very end of the webinar to get it. But it's going to really be worth your while. So stick around and find out what that is, and it could be something that blesses each and every one of you on today's webinar. So stay tuned. Some couple housekeeping items as we get started. You may have questions throughout the webinar. On your webinar viewer, there's a little questions section where you can click and type in some questions. When we get to the end of the webinar and have a little Q&A session, we will answer any questions that come our way. So send them to us throughout the webinar as they come to mind. We probably won't get to answering them till the end. So go ahead and use that. Also, if you have to step away for any reason, we are recording this webinar. So we'll send a recording after the webinar to all of you, plus all the folks who registered but weren't able to attend. So just a couple housekeeping notes as we move along. All right, so before we get started, Jonathan, can you set the stage? What is Financial Peace University? Tell our viewers what it is.
So Financial Peace University is a 9-week course that teaches people how to manage money, as Dave has said for years on the radio show, God and Grandma's way. I mean, we've been doing this for many years, but it is the how-to. So people hear Dave on the radio talk about the baby steps. Well, how do I actually do that? I don't even really know where to begin.
Sure.
Financial Peace University is a fantastic entry point for people to not only learn how do they actually apply the baby steps, but also have the tools and resources to be able to accomplish that with.
That's excellent. So if you're not familiar with Financial Peace University, we wanted to start off today's webinar just explaining a little bit about what it is before we start talking about who can lead groups, how to get started, those types of things. So now to our first takeaway. Who can lead a Financial Peace University group? So we find there are a few different types of people who seem to be most interested in leading financial peace groups. So one of them is people who really feel a desire to help others win with money.
Yeah.
Before we move on further, maybe share a little bit about what your role is at Ramsey Solutions, because you talk to people like this all the time.
Yeah, so I'm one of the financial peace advisors. There's like 30 plus of us here, and I've been doing this for 13 years and absolutely love it. I didn't even know I had a passion for helping people in their finances to this degree until I went through Financial Peace University. So it was someone who wanted to help people like me and my finances that really was the catalyst for me to come and do what I do here every day.
Awesome.
So, but that is a huge reason of why people want to do Financial Peace University is they want to help people with money. That was the reason why I'm the coordinator that led me through the class 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That's why he got involved.
Sure. That's similar to my story too. When I took Financial Peace University back in 2013, the first thing my wife and I did, we took it at a church that wasn't our church. It was just one down the street that was hosting a group. And we immediately went to our pastor and said, we've got to start this here. It's great. So we hear that all the time. Another group of people that often lead Financial Peace are folks who are volunteers in their church or their community and they're looking for things that they can do to help their community. They maybe aren't as specific about wanting to lead financial peace as they are about, I'm a volunteer, I need to find something that I can give to my community.
Right.
And you probably see that as well.
Oh, absolutely. And we have people call in all the time or email all the time wanting to know how can they help, how can they get involved. Maybe they went through FPU at a local church that they're not a part of, or maybe they went through FPU at a local community center that somebody was putting on, and it sparked that passion in them, and now they're asking the same question: how can I pay it forward?
Absolutely, yeah. If any of you who are on the webinar today are volunteers or even staff members at churches or community organizations, and you're looking for programs that you can use in ministries or just ways to give back and engage. I know one thing that we've noticed lately are a lot of churches who are looking for courses that their small groups can use, and Financial Peace University fits in well with all those types of things. Another group of people that we find are really interested in leading a Financial Peace University group are the ones that we say want to stay gazelle intense. So what does that mean?
Well, the gazelle intense is, from the Proverbs, and Dave uses that particular proverb to coin how ferociously you need to stay intense in getting out of debt and staying out of debt, because it's a long process. I mean, the average FPU student takes on 18 to 24 months to get through baby step 2, because they may have car debt and student loan debt and credit card debt. That can be a bit of a grind. And so that gazelle intensity can wane over time if that person is not engaging in something to keep them motivated. And so Financial Peace University is a fantastic way to stay gazelle intense. I can speak to that firsthand because I've led 20 plus classes, and a lot of the reason why early on I was doing so many classes is because continuing to be in that environment over and over was helping me in my own journey and my own financial plan. And so as I was helping other people, couples that their marriage was falling apart because of money fights in the home, or someone who is just so fearful and anxious over their finances that they were even having trouble sleeping at night. I'm thinking of all those faces that I've seen over the years going through those classes, and the light coming on in their eyes brought me hope and gave me encouragement to continue on my plan.
Yeah, no, that's great. For those who aren't familiar with the term baby step 2, that's the phase that people pay off their debt. They get out of debt, except for their mortgage if they have a mortgage. And that is, the second baby step as you're going through your journey. And a lot of folks find that it's tough, as you were mentioning. And so any kind of way to stay motivated is key. And that's one of the things you'll hear. If you listen to Dave on the radio, you'll hear him talk about groups and being one of the best ways to experience financial peace. There's something about that accountability, about having other people that you're on this journey with, that you can talk about the good times and the bad times, that really helps kickstart and create that gazelle intensity.
Oh, absolutely. 100% agree. And when you get in the groups, it's not like you're sharing the dirty laundry, right? You're like, you make $50,000 a year and you got a $600 a month car payment. What's wrong with you? That we're not getting into that kind of stuff, but it's more of, hey, Jordan, man, how are you doing this week? Are you staying on plan? It's more of that encouragement to sticking to what we've all agreed to we want to accomplish in our lives when it comes to our finances.
Absolutely. That's great. Okay, so we're about to move on to our second takeaway, but before we move on, the first takeaway was basically who can lead a group, and all it boils down to is just about anybody can lead a Financial Peace University group. Dave says if you can press play on the DVD player, put chairs in a circle, and love on people, then you are suitable to lead a Financial Peace group. So
absolutely,
it's available for anybody. If you're just joining us now, I've seen a couple people joining the webinar. My name's Jordan Watwood.
Jonathan Flippin.
We both work for Ramsey Solutions, and we're focusing today during this webinar on unpacking what it means to lead a Financial Peace University group, how to help people in your community win with money. We've got 3 takeaways we're focusing on today. The first one that we just covered was who can lead a group, and now we're about to dive into our second takeaway. But before we do, we've got a poll. We want to ask a question to all of you, so take a peek on your screen and you'll see a poll pop up, and we'll give you a few minutes to answer the poll. So have you completed Financial Peace University before? We'd love to see if you are familiar with Financial Peace, if you've taken it before, if you haven't.
Boom, 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 boom.
All right, we'll give you a few more seconds to answer. All right, looks like the responses have stopped. Okay, now I got to find my, there we go. Let me find my slideshow, which has disappeared. There we go. All right, so we're moving on to our second takeaway today, which is how to get started leading a Financial Peace University group. So when folks call in or email in and say, hey, I'm really interested in leading FPU, where do I start? One of the first things that you guys counsel them on is figuring out when they want to lead a group. Is that right?
Yeah, if you don't know when it's going to happen, it's going to be tough to help other people find out when it's going to happen as well. So that's certainly a very important part of the process, is knowing when you want to do it.
And it's 9 weeks. So
it is 9 weeks.
Yep. So you help them find a start date that would work best for them and their community?
Absolutely. So we'll talk through kind of what the lead time should be on getting that class started. Typically, we see most classes ideally promoting for 6 to 8 weeks out, and that's just ideal in getting the interest level up enough, because it's not your typical ask that you would do at church or even out in your community. The commitment level to this is going to be a little higher than maybe some things that they've taken at church before. And so what you want to do is definitely plan that out, thinking, how many weeks am I also going to need before this actually starts, so that I can get the interest level up in my church or in my community, so I actually have a class.
Yep, absolutely. And there's certain seasons throughout the year that we see people naturally want to lead Financial Peace groups. Lots of people out in the community who are looking for Financial Peace groups, and right now we're smack dab right in the middle of one of those seasons.
Yeah. September is crazy busy for a lot of reasons. I mean, people have come off vacations. They're now getting that credit card bill in, reminding them that vacation just followed them home.
Yeah.
And so it's a bit of a reset with kids going back to school,
Sure.
Kind of going back into the same routine that people will go into after Christmas.
Right.
So it is a bit of a hard reset for families, and they begin to think of their goals. And so, when you care, okay, I got to pay for this vacation, I've got to buy back to school stuff for the kids, and my credit card bill is going higher and higher and higher, and then 3 months later we're at Christmas again. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's a bit of a busy time for families, but they know that if they can't continue to keep doing what they're doing and getting a different result.
Yeah. So right now, especially if you're thinking at all about leading a Financial Peace group in your own community or your own church, and you're wondering, when can I do it? There's a tremendous amount of people looking for opportunities to take Financial Peace around the country right now. So anytime throughout the year is a great time to lead Financial Peace, but right now is one of the peak seasons that we see. And it's an awesome opportunity to help people get in the right frame of mind before they get bombarded by Christmas shopping and advertising and all of the holiday that's going to go on. So another thing that you guys counsel folks through and talk through with them when they are interested in leading a Financial Peace group is where, right? So is there one place they have to lead it? Can they lead it wherever they want? How does that work?
Yeah, pretty much wherever they want to lead one. They obviously if you look on our site, we see a great majority of places are churches. And that's kind of a natural fit because of Dave being a Christian. And churches, really having a vested interest to want to train and disciple families and how to manage their money, since all that we talk about and teach comes from the Bible. Yeah. So that's a natural fit. So if you're part of a church, we would definitely recommend you talk to your church leadership and share this desire, this idea about helping families learn about money more than just the expectation of giving and tithing, but how to manage it as well. But hey, Jonathan, I'm not part of a church. Do I get to lead FPU as well?
Sure.
Absolutely. We want to bring help and hope to everybody. So a lot of people in communities that we help, they're leading classes at a local library or a local YMCA or a local rec center if you have a recreation center in your community. Community centers. sometimes because most classes happen in the evenings, I've seen a lot more people doing classes like at a senior citizen center because
Hmm.
usually that's not being utilized in the evening.
Yeah, yeah,
And so I've seen a few of those. But there's, I mean, if it comes right down to it, you can host it right out of your home.
sure.
So, we want to make sure that if you have a desire to help people, get hope and help,
Yeah,
that, we can talk through that on the phone
yeah.
and help you find a place.
So I've got my first financial peace group that I'm leading taking place next month at the YMCA down the street.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, it's cool. I'm excited about it. They were extremely helpful and excited to work with me through the process of
Yeah.
setting up the group. So if you are near a Y or different community organizations, if your church for whatever reason doesn't have the space to do a group, especially if you want to do one this fall, reach out. You never know what they might say because
Yeah.
a lot of them find that to be a great way to spread their mission and message to the rest of the community too.
Absolutely, and a lot of times those directors of those organizations
Mm-hmm.
will want to be proactive in helping you promote those
Yeah,
classes
yeah,
because they see a vested interest in helping their own members
yeah.
be more fiscally healthy
Sure,
as well.
sure. Yeah, awesome. So the other thing is, you show up and you've got an idea of when you want to do your group. You have an idea of where you want to do your group. All the other details are things that we'll help you with. Folks like Jonathan are experts at helping work out the rest of the details, and we are just as interested, if not more so, than you in making sure that your group is a massive success. So
Absolutely.
talk to them a little bit about how you guys walk with people through the process of setting up and leading a financial peace group.
Yeah, so I mean, you think about all the questions, the details of how to get a class started. We have a team, like I said earlier, we have 30, financial peace advisors that will walk you through the process of, hey, Jonathan, where do I start?
Mm-hmm.
How do I actually begin this journey and start this process? Whether you're in a church or whether you want to start one in the community, okay, well, let's start with when and where,
Yeah.
and then, okay, what about marketing? And then what about how do I get material? And how do I help my families register for the class? We will walk you through all that. We honestly have a passion to help coordinators be successful in
Mm-hmm.
this because we know you guys have a passion to help families. You're literally on the front lines of life change.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing these lives change right in front of your eyes, and we certainly want to make sure that you feel equipped and helped through the whole process and that you don't feel frustrated.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's the life change and the fun that can come from a financial peace university.
So much fun.
Those are the things that you're interested in, and we'll help you with all the small details, the stuff that maybe you don't want to spend as much time on. So
Yeah.
We got your back for sure. Real quick, we've got folks coming and going on the webinar, and we just want to make sure that you know who we are. For those who have just tuned in, my name's Jordan Watwood.
I'm Jonathan Flippin.
We both work at Ramsey Solutions, and we're focusing today's webinar on helping your community win with money. If you just joined us, make sure you stick around till the end. We've got a big giveaway happening at the end of the webinar. Not going to tell you any more than that, other than just don't hit that close browser button. Stay tuned so that you can make sure you get in on that. We've been going through some takeaways on what you can learn about leading a financial peace group in your community. We've talked about who can lead, and we've talked about what it takes to lead. Before we move on to the third takeaway, we're going to do another poll. So get ready. And this poll, what's the biggest challenge you're facing that's preventing you from helping people win with money? So take a few seconds to answer that, and then we'll continue on with our webinar. All right, a few more seconds here. Get those answers in. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close it. Okay, let's get back to our presentation. All right, so our third takeaway today is to cover some tips for overcoming some of the challenges you might experience as you're putting a group together and getting started as a new leader to Financial Peace University. So one of the things that we want to definitely drive home is how much fun and easy it is to coordinate. And we just talked about how we'll help you do the heavy lifting, but you've coordinated, you said upwards of 20 times already. Talk a little bit about how much fun it is.
Well, you don't do something 20 plus times if it's not fun.
That's true. Yeah.
It's kind of like the kid when he goes on the roller coaster. I want to go right back on and get in line again. So, but a lot of times the classes can feel like a roller coaster because you've got some groups of families that they're kind of, I don't know if this is for me, and then you've got some like I'm a mess and I don't know, I'm too broke to pay attention.
Sure.
And you've got some other families over here that they feel like they're doing just fine, charging up everything, and they're not really sure why they're here. But the cool thing is that you get to give hope to all of them, and you get to see some of those families as they're going through the class. You begin to see their eyes shine, is the best way I can put it, because they begin to click. They begin to see something at a different level that they weren't seeing before. And when you see that happen, for me, that is so much fun. When you see a spouse, two spouses that when at the beginning of the class, they were sitting with their arms crossed, their legs crossed, frowning faces.
Yeah.
But by the end of the class, they've got their arms around each other because now they're actually communicating differently at a much deeper level in their relationship than they ever had before on their finances. I mean, that's fun.
Yeah.
That is so much fun.
Yeah.
And the easy part of it is that you're not having to really teach them. You're just making the environment available to them. We've already done the heavy lifting of, Dave is teaching through the videos. You've got all your lesson plans already put together for you in the coordinator's guide.
Yeah.
So you've got the tools already put together for you to make this environment possible.
So let me just pull this out here. So this is our Financial Peace University leadership materials product.
Dave in a box.
Yeah, exactly. So just unpacking this a little bit and showing a little bit about what's inside. Talking about the easy part, we've got our coordinator guide hardback book that has the same lessons that the members in your group will be reviewing. It's got all the answers inside. It's got forms and things for budgets and stuff like that. It comes with the DVDs to lead all 9 lessons. And there's a few other goodies in there that'll help make your group fun and engaging.
Yeah.
And that's just what we mail you when you lead a group. There's also a really cool online component. We have a coordinator dashboard on the web that you can manage your group with that helps you take attendance, share class notes, all kinds of things. So we want to make it as easy for you so that you can have as much fun as you can.
Absolutely. No one really wants to get bogged down with, I've got to spend 2 hours planning out discussion group questions and exercises and all that kind of stuff. All that's done for you. I mean, all your questions are put together. We even have little question cards in there to help kind of break the ice and who's going to ask what questions.
Sure.
And even the environment of the groups, we put that in there where it helps you know how to navigate those waters so it doesn't feel awkward for you when you ask a question and everybody's like, So how do you use that silence to your advantage? We talk through all that in the coordinator's material, so it really takes the guesswork out for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's another one, and Jonathan just alluded to this, but all the teaching's done by Dave, right? So you don't have to worry about teaching people how to get debt-free, how to make smart decisions with their money. Dave does that. All you have to do is press play.
That's it. Dave is the expert on it. He's been doing it for 25 years. I'd say he's probably got a lot of success under his belt with proven track record that this plan actually works. So if not anybody else, you and I are success stories from that.
For sure.
When I went through the class, I was too broke to pay attention, and I'm a baby step 7, and so I haven't had debt in 15 years. So this stuff works, and we're utilizing the same exact system that Dave is teaching now as what I went through. So it's just as impactful.
Absolutely. So there's a couple myths that we've heard of from folks who are interested in becoming coordinators, but feel for whatever reason that they aren't qualified. So we talked at the beginning of the webinar that anybody can lead a financial peace group, but a couple of the myths that we'd like to bust right now. One of them is you don't need to be a financial expert to lead the group.
It's true.
Dave does the teaching. Let him be the expert. You just have to be there to love on people, as Jonathan mentioned, to create a nice environment for them to feel like they can come, they can learn, they can share. You will get questions, though, and you'll get questions that you don't know how to answer. How do you handle that?
You say, I don't know.
Which is okay.
which is okay. I don't know, but there's tools and resources that they have access to as FPU members in financialpeace.com, which is the online component and tools that's part of the group experience.
Yep.
There's an option where they can click on local coach, and they can ask a local financial coach in their area a question.
Yep.
And they'll hit them back up with an answer.
Yep.
DaveRamsey.com is a really good resource. I've used that many times where I'll do a little keyword search on DaveRamsey.com for for like if it's a really simple thing, and see if Dave has said something about that on the radio show, and I'll email him a quick link to it. Hey, here's what Dave says about that exact situation. So, there's tons of resources that we have, that we already have, that will help you be able to answer those questions, or at least get them in the right direction. But the point of it is that you want to empower them. Mm-hmm. That's what we're all about, is empowering those people to be able to do this on their own.
Absolutely. Another myth that people often have is that you have to be debt-free to be a coordinator, and that's just simply not true. I'm not debt-free yet. I'm on my debt-free journey, and I'm about to lead a group. Tons and tons of our coordinators aren't debt-free yet. So that's not something that needs to be an obstacle.
No, not at all. Certainly you'll probably get that question. Well, hey, do you still have debt and things like that? And you're like, well, yeah. So if that's the answer, then be honest with them, but say, you're working your journey.
Absolutely.
And this is why you're offering this class, is because it's helping you in your journey, but you want to bring others with you.
Yeah. And it's really cool. We have folks that come to our building all the time to do their debt-free screens. You've probably heard them if you've listened to the radio show at all or watched the YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. We recently had a handful of coordinators who came in to do their debt-free screens, and it was really neat because we reached out to their group members to ask them to share some words of gratitude and thanks for those coordinators. And some of the people that wrote in wrote about how they were encouraged by their coordinators' debt-free journey. So being imperfect and leading others is often a recipe for success, because people like to be able to see other people who are working the plan and seeing success with it.
Well, that's why Dave's story is so appealing. Yeah. Humility is attractive, and when you've got some guy who said, I did stupid with zeros on it. Yeah. It was like, oh, okay, yeah, I feel stupid, but this guy's done stupid at a level that I've not done before. Sure. And Dave has just always been very upfront about that, and that's part of his story. And so just know that it's okay for you to show your vulnerability as well, to say, hey, I don't have it figured out.
Yeah.
But you know what? I know a guy who's felt the same way as we all have felt, and he figured it out. And he's got a plan that actually has been working for 25 years.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Another one that's a myth is that you have to have taken Financial Peace University before you can actually lead the course, and that's absolutely not true. I think the statistic that I've heard is that upwards of 40% of our Financial Peace University coordinators are experiencing FPU at the same time that they're leading it. So they aren't people who've taken it before, but they still are able to lead it with no problem.
Absolutely, and of course, looking at the poll, it looked like there was about 2/3 of you that have not completed Financial Peace University. Mm-hmm. So again, this is talking right to you guys as well. You don't have to have taken the course, but I would say that you do need to at least be willing to adhere to going through the course as you're facilitating it, because otherwise it does create a bit of an awkward situation when you've got families you're trying to help, and when they ask, hey, well, are you doing this, or are you willing to do this, then obviously you want to offer something that you're wanting to also live out yourself.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've gone through our 3 takeaways: who can lead, how to get started, and tips for overcoming challenges. And now we're toward the end of our webinar, and we want to do our special offer. So this was the 4th takeaway that I told those of you who are patient enough to stick with us to stick around for. So today we want to give away for free up to 50 of our leadership kits. So 50 of you who are on our webinar can get your hands on one of these for free. Normally $229, but we want to give it away for you today for free. So here's how to get it. You have to be willing to lead a group this fall. So either if you can squeeze one in by the end of September or in the month of October, be willing to lead a group during that time frame, and know where you would like to lead a group. And if you can provide those 2 things for us, then we will give you gladly a free leadership materials kit.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
50. And I'll tell you, just because I'm talking this all day right now, with this being such a busy season, if you start the week of October 21st, you will finish before Christmas.
Mhm.
So certainly, gives you plenty of time to market your class and promote it, and also, get it finished before we hit Christmas.
I just posted a link to the chat section on your webinar viewer. You should be able to access it. Click on that link. There's a form at the end of that page that you can fill out, where you'll fill out your name, your contact information, and there's a little checkbox where it'll open up another form that allows you to fill in when you want to lead a group, where you want to lead it. If you have any idea of the timing and the location, go ahead and fill that out, and then we'll get you in touch with one of our advisors who will be able to walk you through all the steps to get a kit in your hands for free.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so super excited about that. Extremely generous to be able to have those leadership materials ready to give away. I'm seeing a bunch of questions coming in, probably related to this giveaway. So let's go ahead and move on to some questions at this point. And I'm going to open up the questions section, and we'll just take them one by one. So we've got somebody who says they can't see the link. So let me respond directly to you with the link and see if that helps.
Bingo.
I'm going to send it to all. So if you didn't see it in the chat section, you can look in the question section. I just responded to Andrea's question with the link. So go ahead, and if you have some time as we're taking questions here toward the end, to fill that out. We'll give you a free kit. The requirements, though, are that you are going to lead a group this month or next, and that you know the location in which you would like to lead the group. And then we'll walk you through the rest. All right, let's tackle some questions. All righty, we've got Sherry said, thanks for the book. You're welcome, Sherry. Absolutely. You tuned in at the very beginning. All right, here's a question from Jewel. Have you had anyone lead a Financial Peace University class in combination with a social activity? For example, we have a large swing dance community, and I was thinking of scheduling to lead a Financial Peace group before a weekly social dance.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Well, Jewel, I think you got the fun part down.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So, absolutely. A lot of times churches will do a weekly dinner, like on like midweek services and things like that. And so they use that dinner as a way to pull people from the community.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, obviously, this is a place that people are gathering. So, in my mind, I think you already have a group of people that you can already promote it to.
Mm-hmm.
So, if they're coming there anyway, all they've got to do is just show up 90 minutes earlier, and boom, you've got a class. So it really makes sense.
Yeah.
And then once they work their brain out with the finances, they can work their body out with the swing dancing. So.
Yeah, and if you offer swing dancing lessons, you probably get even more people showing up.
That's right.
Yeah, let me know. I want to go to that group.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. All right, here's another one that just popped up. If our pastor has approved for us to start a group at our church, how do we go about getting everything set up? So I think this ties into we'll help you with the rest, right? So
it definitely does. So what I would love for you to do, Tanya, is give our team a call. Let us know how we can help you get the rest of it set up. If your pastor's got it approved, really the questions I would have if you and I were talking on the phone right now would be, okay, when's the date and time? And then if your response is, well, I've got to go ask the pastor again, then that's where you would really start next, is getting your date and time nailed down for when you want to start. Again, as I said earlier in the webinar, you want to think through also allowing time for promotion.
Awesome. Let's see here. Let's find another question. Got a couple of people that are saying they can't see the link. I'm gonna send the link out again to everybody, and hopefully we get it to all the folks. All right. Okay, so here's a question from Cheryl. How do you actually show Financial Peace University to an entire group? So maybe this is a good explanation of, as a coordinator, like, how do you facilitate this course to a group?
Yeah.
What equipment do you need to have?
Yeah.
AV setup, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so if you're doing what we call a traditional group, which would be where you would have a DVD player or where you would play it through a computer, you basically would just need a monitor or TV and just something to play the DVD on, and essentially way you would present it is, and literally the coordinator's guide walks you through what to do, but the gist of each lesson is going to be about a 5 minute before the video of intro or review of previous week's lesson, then roughly an hour of Dave teaching that week's topic, and then the second or the next part of the class is going to be your discussion group time, and so those discussion group questions are already written out for you. And then after that, it'll be either a case study or group exercise that everyone does together. And that really helps with everyone learning how that particular week's topic applies to them personally and gets them working with it a little bit.
Yeah.
And then after that's over with, you do a bit of about a 5 minute wrap up where homework is discussed, and then people, go home. They do what the course is telling them to do in their membership materials and on financialpeace.com. And then you get back together the following week and wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah. So one thing too that I'd like to point out is a lot of folks will do the group where everyone gathers and watches the lessons together on a big TV or some sort of a screen. If you are leading it out of your home or a community center where maybe there isn't a television or something to show the lessons, you can also ask your group members to watch the lessons on their own at home and then show up together for the discussion.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of groups that do that, and so the course is flexible enough that you can do it either of those ways.
Yeah, we actually call it FPU Flex.
Yeah.
So if you're talking to our office, hey, I'm interested in this Flex format that Jordan mentioned, that's what we're referring to.
Awesome. Let's see here. Got a couple more questions. Do we charge for the Financial Peace University class to give the church for power, water, etc.? What would you say to that?
I would say no. I mean, typically, churches want to bring people from the community in. They want to do outreach. Obviously, the church is also offering classes to the members in various topics. So whether that be a Sunday school format or what have you. So it's going to fall on the same lines. I've never heard that. I've been doing this for 13 years. I've never heard where the church is like, well, you got to pay a portion of this. No, the church is there to help bring hope and healing and guidance to the community through what Scripture says. And Scripture is very clear about how to manage money. And that's exactly what we teach every day out of this office. So, we do charge them for their membership, but that as far as the church charging them for anything else above that, then no. I would say that would not be a requirement.
Let's move on to another question. Here's one: how many people can host a Financial Peace University class? So coordinator, at least one person, right?
Yeah, I mean, we typically recommend, one coordinator for about every 20 people. And typically, that's going to be like 10 financial situations if 20 of those people are, if they're all couples, right?
Yeah.
So you've got 10 financial situations going on in that home. And that is, one, good enough to have, we would say, a really robust conversation where it's going to keep moving. But two, it's not going to be so overwhelming the coordinator feels just overwhelmed with everything, or if you've got introverts in that particular group, that they don't feel like there's so many people that they just feel turned off from coming back each week.
Right.
But so for every coordinator you have, especially this, we see this happening in a lot of churches that are larger, have larger numbers, several hundred or 1,000 plus people in the church. We would say for about every 20 people, you need to have at least one coordinator.
And co-coordinators can help along. So if you're married and you want to lead, you can always have your spouse join you as a co-coordinator.
There you go.
So you can make it fun. A logistical question from John: room setup. Should you use chairs and tables or just chairs only? I mean, I think we can answer that. Whatever works best for your situation.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it happen both ways, and it's not, 6 half dozen of the other. It's just whatever works for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. A couple more questions before we wrap up. Let's see. So there's a couple questions that are popping up about what does it cost for the individual person to take Financial Peace University. So dive into that a little bit, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so I mean, on DaveRamsey.com, you can see in the store that it is, on average, the retail price is $129. But through a group, we actually give a group discount for your people that you're sending to purchase the material. And so when you set your group up, you actually get a group link that you can send to everyone. You can market that on social media. If you're part of a church, you can put it to your church website. I mean, any way you guys can put that out there. And when people click on that group link to purchase their membership materials, they can get it for $109. And that gives them access to everything, just like someone who bought it for $129. We're just giving them a $20 discount because they're doing this through your group link. We also have additional discounts if, let's say, the church wants to order in bulk.
Sure.
Let's say they want to order, 10 or more memberships at one time, and those come in and they're distributed to the families that they're signing up through their promotions. Well, based on certain quantities, there's additional discounts available beyond just $109.
Yeah.
So again, based on those quantities, and again, if you want to dive deeper into that, give us a call. We'll be happy to talk through all that with you if you feel like that's a real possibility for where you're doing the class.
Absolutely. Real quick, a comment from Jayla. I'm on my second class coordinating this year. Thank you so much, Jayla. That's amazing. She's starting tomorrow, week 6, tomorrow night. Just wanted to say thanks for the encouragement. This is such an amazing thing to do for anyone on the fence. Like you're saying earlier, it's also great for staying gazelle intense. My husband and I have paid off just over $10,000 since our first class in March. Thanks for all you do at Ramsey. That's awesome. Congrats, Jayla. Thank you for coordinating, and keep it up. That's excellent that you paid off that much debt. That's wonderful. Okay, we've got just a few more questions in just a few more minutes. So here's a question from Lysandra. I took Financial Peace University years ago. If I wanted to take the class again, do I have to pay for the class again?
So the quick answer is no, you don't have to. We've always allowed families who have taken Financial Peace University to attend the physical class wherever it's being held publicly. They can go and find one on DaveRamsey.com and plug into those groups as often as they'd like to. However, if you do want the new material, if you're, let's say that the version of FPU material you have was from a previous iteration of Financial Peace, then and you want all the new swag that's now in the current material, or all of the new digital tools which are amazing. If you want access to all of that, then yes, you would want to purchase a new membership just so that you are current with everything.
Yep, absolutely. Last question here. If I'm hosting in my home, does this have to be listed publicly, or can I invite only those that I want to attend?
Well, we do not list residential classes online, and it's just for kind of obvious reasons. We can't control who from your community would just pop up on DaveRamsey.com and looking for a class. It's different if they're in a community center, in a community public setting, than maybe having that person in your living room. So certainly when we know that it's a residential class and you're doing it out of your home, we're not going to list that publicly. It will be private. The only way someone could find that class is if you give them the group link I mentioned earlier so they can sign up for it.
Yep, absolutely. Awesome. There's a handful of other questions and comments. People having trouble with the link that I shared. I will email each of you after the webinar so that you have that. Just a reminder, we're giving away up to 50 leadership kits if you can provide us with the dates and the location in which you want to lead and you are willing to lead a group either this month or next. So if you haven't checked out that landing page, if you haven't clicked on the link and filled out the form, or if you couldn't for whatever reason, I'll email you a follow-up. We're also going to email out a recording of this webinar later today. So if you want to share it with anybody, or you want to watch it again, or if you happen to have to step out and missed a part, that'll be showing up in your inbox. But other than that, we just want to thank you so much for sticking with us and spending 45 minutes of your day with us. And hopefully we were able to answer all your questions. You can also respond to the webinar emails that I was sending to you about this webinar and showing up if you have any other questions, and we'd be happy to help you out. So thanks a ton, and I guess we'll talk with some of you later on.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.